And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Roster Report here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, here on livinginblack.com. My name is Keedy Owadu, aka the Conscious Roster. Weekday mornings, you and I get together live. We come at you from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East Africa time. We gather together with you, and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives, entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family, conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity and development. Today's date is Monday. It is the 11th day of August, Black August as we call it around here, 2025 in the Western calendar. This corresponds to the year 6266 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, here on livinginblack.com. All right, let's get this party started. We're off to another great new week here on LIB Radio. Of course, our week begins Sunday morning with the Mastermind Group, and we had a great discussion yesterday. What an honor, what a joy it is to be joined with you all today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being prompt and right at the top of the show. Do hit the like button during the course of watching the show, and if you can, type in your name or just a brief message into the chat board. I'd love to acknowledge you, and I'd love to send greetings out to every one of you in my extensive listening audience today. What a joy it is to be with you. What a joy. Now here, let me do this real quickly. Let me just turn off that banner, turn on the scrolling banner at the bottom of the page. And let me tell you what we have on board for today's discussion, what you need to know about autoimmune disease. Today on libradio.com, we put the spotlight on something that you have been hearing more about in recent years. It is estimated there are over 80 different autoimmune diseases that have become more common across the U.S. population, ranging from simple allergies to extremely complex disorders with debilitating symptoms. The plague of autoimmune diseases has become a boon to the medical pharmaceutical complex. You see their commercials daily across television and social media. Now, let's take the time to consider whether we can beat this plague, whether we can beat this plague of autoimmune disorders using nature's best medicine, food. That's what today's discussion is all about. Autoimmune diseases, and can we beat them using food as nature's most perfect medicine? I have a bit of a video I've pulled up here for today. I'm going to copy the link to this. Give me a second here. Copy and paste it into there. And grab that, and I'm going to play for you this brief video, which is going to explain what are autoimmune diseases. Let me put this on the desktop, hide me down in the corner, and here's what we have to share. It's going to be just about 50 seconds.
If you have an autoimmune disease, as you imagine, this is your body fighting against itself every single day. Your defense system can't really differentiate between your own cells and foreign cells, so it mistakenly attacks normal cells. Research is going to help the body gain control over this fight. And Cami is going to produce new therapies that are going to be able to specifically address components of the immune system to really allow us to treat diseases like multiple sclerosis, lupus, type 1 diabetes, uh, rheumatoid arthritis, and Hashimoto's disease.
Now,
If you have an autoimmune
real
disease,
quickly,
as you imagine,
let me just explain. He talked about autoimmune disease is essentially your body's immune system gets tricked into thinking that its own cellular materials are actually foreign materials, and your body is fighting against these foreign materials. Now, one, we have to understand that much of this is because of intrusion of the medical pharmaceutical industries all throughout our lives. I learned 35 years ago, that injection of animal materials into the human body can trigger autoimmune diseases. We're talking about looking at vaccinations. Vaccinations contain components of HeLa cell culture, that is the cervical cancer or the ovarian cancer of Henrietta Lacks, a black woman, who died in the 1950s, but whose cervical cancer was so aggressive it continued to grow in vitro. We have been injected with monkey kidney, monkey cell components. We have been infected with CMV, which is considered to be, what's it called, monkey? It's CMV is apparently, I'm trying to think of it. It's a monkey virus. I'm trying to think of it. CM40, I think that's it. But we have been injected with rabbit components, duck components, egg components, chicken egg components. We've been injected with horse components, cellular material from horses, cows, pigs. We've got cellular material from 11 different species, including human species, and now to include human diploid cells, which are obtained from aborted fetuses, are used in vaccinations. I'm not making this up. I am not making any part of this up. So now that we have exposed this, what can we expect to come out of just something as common as vaccinations? But oh no, it gets much worse. It gets much worse. Essentially, what I am saying is autoimmune disorders we should look at as largely a man-made crisis. And I don't know for sure, but the doctor you just heard on your screen, I don't think that he really is in a position to be able to reverse these proliferation of autoimmune diseases if he is relying upon standardized Western medicine solely as the solution. I'm coming at you today with a nature-based solution. Let me let you in on it right off the bat. And we're going to go through a lot of research. Food is nature's most perfect medicine. What did I say? I said food is nature's most perfect medicine. For autoimmune disorders, there's no better medicine on earth than food. So how many of you are tuned in today? How many of you are going to hit the like button and let the algorithm know you are learning, and that you are happy to be here with us on LIV Radio, LIVGLivingBlack.com. Let's begin our investigation from this point on. First, let's break down 20 essentials related to autoimmune disorders. I just compiled all of this list today. I'm very, very proud of what we have compiled. Let me share with you what we have. 20 essentials about autoimmune diseases. Number one, what are they? Conditions where the immune system mistakenly attacks the body's own tissues, causing chronic inflammation and damage. And to say it's a mistake is not necessarily as accurate as I would want to be. But your immune system is not intended to fight against its own cells. But unfortunately, because of what we have allowed to happen to our cells from many different sources, not just vaccinations, but a bunch of different sources, because of our over aggressive immune system. Over aggressive means it's in a constant battle, and at a certain point it becomes fatigued and indiscriminate about what it attacks. Now the human body is attacking its own tissues. Point two, there are over 80 distinct autoimmune diseases, ranging from organ-specific to systemic conditions. Over 80 named distinct autoimmune disorders and diseases. And I do cover them. I do cover them in this book, 100 Plus Lifespan. I have an appendix in here called Inflammation and Disease. It's the first appendix. And putting together the list of inflammatory diseases that have been identified and given a name, this list consists of about 162 named disorders and diseases. And of those 162, half of them, just under half of them, are autoimmune disorders, because autoimmune disorders and inflammation disorders or diseases are the same thing. That's very important. So get this book, 100 Plus Lifespan, where I name 161, I think it's 162 in the newest version, of these inflammation-based conditions, of which a number of them are autoimmune disorders. This is very important. Let's go forward. Who gets them? Autoimmune disorders can affect any one of us, but are more common in women, often begin in young to middle adulthood, and can vary by ancestries. Vitiligo is an autoimmune disorder. Vitiligo is an autoimmune disorder. One might say that sickle cell, if it's not directly an autoimmune disorder, it very strongly resembles one. And guess what? We treat them both the same way. Using what? Nutrition. Common examples of autoimmune disorders, some of these I'm going to expand on a little bit later, include rheumatoid arthritis, where your hands start knuckling up and bunching up and gnarly looking, it's pretty ugly. Include lupus, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, Hashimoto's and Graves' disease, both are autoimmune disorders of the thyroid, psoriasis, inflammatory bowel syndrome or inflammatory bowel disease, same thing, IBD, IBS, as well as celiac disease and vitiligo. These are common examples of autoimmune disease. Number 5, typical symptoms of autoimmune diseases include fatigue, joint or muscle pain, rashes, fevers, brain fog, digestive issues, numbness and tingling, and symptoms tied to specific groups. These are all typical symptoms of autoimmune disease. Number 6 on our list, disease pattern. Many follow a relapsing, remitting course with flares and quieter periods. Early control can change long-term outcomes. Now, when they say early control, don't confuse that with drugs. Steroids are often prescribed to people with autoimmune disorders, and anyone who has been on steroidal therapy for some time can tell you steroids are miserable. They're miserable. They make you bloated, gain weight. Steroids can also leave you fatigued, out of energy, dead of energy. So managing them, I do completely agree. We want to identify these autoimmune disorders as early as possible, but don't manage them. Have your body order up a cure. I do not cure people. Your body can cure itself. What I do is help you to create the right environment by which your body cures itself. You have to understand that. Number 7, why they happen, autoimmune disorders, why they happen, a mix of genetics and environment. It's 5% genetics and 95% environment. So it is true, it is a mix, but the genetics of autoimmune disorders really can affect everyone, which is why autoimmune disorders affect almost everyone. Triggers can include infections, hormones, stress, smoking, certain medications, and toxins. And I do agree, it is the environment. It's the epigenetic environment. Number 8, diagnosis balance. And under triggers, they didn't say anything about injecting foreign species tissues into the human bloodstream. Yeah, they didn't say anything about the autoimmune impact of consuming dairy and meat and all of that stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. Number 7, why autoimmune disorders happen. And number 8, diagnosis basis is based on history, exam, labs, and imaging. It's often a diagnosis of pattern recognition plus ruling out other causes. And that's what I do with the consultations that I do. I talk to people and we rule out as many causes as we possibly can. And most of the time, we have to does admit that it is triggered by the things they mentioned earlier. It's triggered by, what did I read? Toxins, including infections, injections, hormones, stress, smoking, certain medications, and toxins. Many medications and toxins. Key tests for diagnosing include antibodies, autoantibodies, example given ANA, RF, anti-CCP, anti-dis-DNA, anti-TPO, as well as measuring your inflammatory markers such as CRP, that's called chronic something protein, CRP. I can't think of it right now. I have that right in my head. I'll think of it a little bit later. But organ-specific laboratory tests and targeted imaging or biopsies. So certain of them can be diagnosed by opening your body up and seeing the inflamed tissue in certain places, but you don't want to go there. You would much rather diagnose your autoimmune disorder. You'd much rather diagnose it with just common sense. Unfortunately, with modern medicine, it doesn't convey the common sense that you presume your practitioner to have. It doesn't do a good job of conveying it to the client. So we're going to do the best we can to do it without using invasive diagnostics. Number 10, overlap is common. People with one autoimmune disorder have a higher chance of having another. And that's very important. It clusters in families also occur. But we have to understand the cluster in the family could very well likely not be result of DNA or genetics. It could be the result of across the family, everyone engaged in certain practices. injections of foreign DNA into our bodies. That's a common practice across generations, for which the genetics excuse or the genetics origin of it would be claimed if they weren't, it would be claimed if they were covering up the fact that you and your family have been engaging in invasive practices across the generations. I welcome anybody out there. Love to hear from you today. We are up on YouTube. We are on Rumble. We always appreciate our Rumble family. You are doing a wonderful job. We love having you in the house. We are also up on YouNow and our TuneIn app. We're live on all of those platforms. We'd love to hear from you. And going forward, next on our list, we're up to point number 11. Complications, if uncontrolled, irreversible organ damage, disability, cardiovascular disease, infections, and reduced quality of life. Yes, I do agree. And there are over 80 identified common autoimmune disorders. So when we're talking about fibromyalgia, when we're talking about multiple sclerosis, when we're talking about neurological impairment, autoimmune disorders. Treatment goals. This is very important. For my specific purpose, this is very important. Treatment goals from functional medicine is how I am approaching treatment goals for autoimmune disorder. And the treatment goals include, but are not limited to, number one, reduce or eliminate inflammation. Not reduce inflammation, eliminate inflammation. You're not going to be able to eliminate 100% of elimination, but you can eliminate 75%, 80% of inflammation, especially if you're engaging in inflammatory practices all day, every day. Yesterday, I went out to an event. It was a wonderful event here in Las Vegas where Africa Love is creating a village, and they had a marketplace, a village marketplace, and opened up the restaurant yesterday. It was absolutely wonderful. But as much as I love Africa Love, they served ice cream, dairy ice cream. And the person serving the dairy ice cream, bless her heart, I know her heart is in it, but her research does not include the fact that 95% of Bantu people are intolerant of lactose. Lactose intolerant. They lack the lactase enzyme, which can break down the sugar proteins for digestibility by humans. 95% of black African Bantu people. With South Asians, it's even higher, 100% or 97%. If they're pure blood from Okinawa, from the Philippines, and from parts of Vietnam, you cannot be consuming dairy. You're lactose intolerant. You have to understand that. And black people, you need to understand that. Key, we're up to treatment goals. That was very important. Reduce, eliminate inflammation, relieve the symptoms, prevent autoimmune disorder damage of tissues, preserve the function of your organs, and aim for low disease activity or remission. Those are all very good goals, treatment goals for our intentionality regarding this thing called autoimmune disorders. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up in a search engine right now. Search for autoimmune disease, treatment goals, and functional medicine. That's what I'm going to be searching for. And I have to real quickly do a correction here. Okay. and functional, not functional. That's going to be, so I'm going to come back to that in just a little bit. And I'm going to do a think deeper response for that and come back to that. Number 13 on a list of 20 about autoimmune disorders, medications include, and I do not prescribe medications. I'm not qualified to prescribe medications. I am qualified to use functional medicine, which uses alternatives to Western medications. The medications for autoimmune disorders include NSAIDs, those are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, short-term corticosteroids, which are steroids, conventional DMARDs, including methotrexate, immunosuppressants, azathioprine, and mycophenolate, and those are the ones you're seeing advertised on the social media and on television commercials. You'll understand them because if you listen to when they're reading the side effects relating to these commercials and autoimmune disorders, if you listen to them, they will say, if you have had tuberculosis, tell your doctor because you're not supposed to, you're contraindicated. If you are planning on getting a vaccine, you're contraindicated. It's not to be used with any live vaccine. And it's also, if you have had recent episodes with a viral disease, you're not to be given these drugs. They're contraindicated. You'll hear that in the commercials. These include biologics, T-cell co-stimulation blockers, which is again suppressing your immune system, and targeted small molecules, including JAK and S1P modulators. Again, basically the medications are intended to knock out your immune system or give you steroids. That's not good. Number 14, safety and monitoring. Increased infection risk. Routine labs and screening. Example given, tuberculosis or hepatitis before and during therapy. Sun and skin checks for some treatments. So that kind of complements the previous one I was reading, number 13, about the medications and what some of these medications do. I would like to have taken those medications one by one and break them down even further. But if you're curious, you will either do the research yourself, or I'll give out my cell phone number, my text number, and you'll text me and saying, hey, listen, I think I'm caught up in an autoimmune disorder, Brother Keaty. Call me Brother Keaty. And I need you to help me create the shortest, quickest pathway out of this swamp and into a zone where I live with no inflammation. I didn't say reduce inflammation. I say none, no inflammation. I live with no inflammation except for mosquito bites, and that will inflame for 20 minutes, and then the inflammation goes away. So that's not bad. But, inflammation is the little red zone around a mosquito bite. That's not bad at all. Number 15, vaccinations. Ooh, I didn't say it, YouTube. AI said it. Vaccinations. Inactivated vaccinations are generally recommended. Live vaccines are usually avoided during significant immunosuppression and timed before therapy. How many of you actually do that? How many of you actually know that inactivated vaccines, if you or your children have allergies, asthma, any other autoimmune disorders, you or your children, then that means the entire family, according to this Western medicine theory, that it is connected to genetics, your entire family is disqualified from vaccinations, contraindicated. Believe it or not, that's the way that's the logic that I use when our children were in school, and I always exempted our children, 3 daughters, always exempted them from mandatory vaccinations. That was what I used, and that was contraindication. Basically, the children or other very close family members with which they share a bloodline are known to be allergic and contraindicated to a broad spectrum of chemicals commonly used in the vaccinations. Number 16. I hope you're hearing me, people. I hope you are listening to today's show. We have a very small audience, and that's really tragic because we are on it. We are definitely on it for today, but we're just going to do the best that we can. Going forward, we are up to number 17. Number 16, lifestyle leverage. Lifestyle leverage. Regular movement, physical activity. Restorative sleep, that's 7 to 9 hours a day. Smoking cessation, stress reduction. Sun protection, or in my case, sun exposure to get that vitamin D3 in photosensitive diseases, and a nutrient-dense anti-inflammatory eating pattern can help. What did they say at the end of that? Nutrient-dense anti-inflammatory eating pattern can help. But do they tell you what is an anti-inflammatory protocol? In the same research I did today, it said at one point that red meats were good to eat, or grass-fed beef, or whatever they said was good to eat if you have autoimmune disease. What? What? They did not account for that inflammatory protein you've heard me talk about numerous times called NEU5GC. They didn't account for that. NEU5GC increases your inflammation by 500%. Right there, NEU5GC. It's in the red meat. It's in the beef, grass-fed beef, and other fed beef. I don't know what you call the other ones. It's in the buffalo meat. It's in the lamb. It's in the pork. NEU5GC. Don't believe me? Look it up. It increases your inflammation. So this is getting crazy. Gut and microbiome. This is very important. Related to autoimmune disorders, gut health and dysbiosis, which is a lack of gut health, may influence disease activity. Fiber-rich foods, fermented foods, and individualized approaches are being studied. That individualized approach is called functional medicine. Functional medicine is an individualized approach to your specific conditions that have brought you into this category of what we call autoimmune disorders. We're up to number 17. Gut and microbiome, we did discover that. Number 18, mental health matters. Anxiety, depression, and grief are common. Counseling, peer support, and pacing strategies improve resilience and outcomes. So get your mental health in order to overcome your autoimmune disorder. Life stages. Number 19. Pregnancy is often safe with planning and medication adjustments. Children may have growth or bone considerations. Older adults face higher infection and cardiovascular risks. So whatever life stage you're in, whether it's in pre-pregnancy, pregnancy, early life, if you are breastfeeding and your You have an autoimmune disorder, but your child does not. Does that increase the risk of your child getting an autoimmune disorder? Because you're sharing the same blood, and your blood biomarkers are what triggered your autoimmune disorder in the first place. What's next? Number 20. Precision medicine. Better biomarkers. Tolerance-inducing therapies and microbiome-targeted strategies are reshaping prevention and treatment. Clinical trials are key, meaning they need you to be a guinea pig. But I would say we would better go with the others. Now, I did look up autoimmune disease treatment goals. Autoimmune diseases occur when the immune system mistakenly attacks healthy cells. While there is no universal cure, so they say, treatment aims to manage symptoms to prevent further damage. Key goals include: number 1, symptom management. And the symptoms: reduce inflammation, pain, and fatigue, or reduce or eliminate inflammation, pain, and fatigue. Improve the quality of life and daily functioning. Now here, let me just copy this whole section here. One sec. This is a rather extensive here. I'm going to copy and paste that in my document over here. And let's go into this first part. Gets a little crazy over here on my desktop, but I'm going to do the best I can. Let's just keep it over here in this one, this tab. Okay, so the goals are symptom elimination, not management. Symptom eliminate. Eliminate the symptoms of inflammation. Eliminate pain. Eliminate fatigue. Number 2, immune system regulation. Suppress or modulate the immune response to prevent tissue damage. Suppress or modulate the immune response. We don't want to suppress immune response. That's part of living. That's a function of our lymphatic system. What we want to do is refine, clean up the immune response, refine it. And that is get rid of all of the excesses that are triggering your immune system. If you're eating and drinking the standard American diet, then you are definitely of increased risk of developing an autoimmune disorder. In fact, that's how many children now develop allergies, peanut allergies and all kind of allergies and things as they get older, allergies to milk and peanuts and stuff. You're not supposed to be consuming food that triggers your immune system, your inflammation. Number 3, disease progression control. See, I'm not necessarily happy with this AI search because everything is just all about just controlling the symptoms. Prevent flare-ups and slow disease progression. Why not eliminate the disease progression? Why not eliminate it? Delay or prevent onset in high-risk individuals. If you are a high-risk individual, you need to commit to eliminating this out of your body. Personalized therapy. I'm just going to read through this because this is making me miserable. Tailored treatments based on individual biology and disease mechanisms. Yeah, I can agree with that. That's functional medicine, but they didn't say get rid of it. Use biomarkers to guide therapy selection. And I would say, yes, that's true. Use biomarkers. Do they tell you weigh yourself every day? No. So what biomarkers are they talking about? They're talking about C-reactive protein and other biomarkers of steroids, corticosteroids, etc. We can do better than that. Personalized therapy, I read that. Minimize medication side effects. Now, come on, this one's too easy for me. What's the obvious way to minimize disease, the medication side effects? Stop taking the medications, but do not stop it on your own. No, 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 no. That's very dangerous. That is one of the 6 known causes of iatrogenics, meaning death or disease by medicine. One of the 6 known causes of death is sudden stoppage of medication. So if you're going to stop using non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs or any of the others, you need to contact your doctor. Let them know, I'm not going to take your drugs. In fact, I was talking to someone just yesterday. And she quit using the drugs her doctor prescribed for her was it autoimmune disorder? Diabetes. And her A1C changed very dramatically. She went on the nutritional based protein and her A1C changed very dramatically, down 10 points or something. Fasting A1C dropped 10 points. And she went to her doctor. This is unbelievable. I had to confirm it. I had to say, you know what? Your doctor said that. She went to her doctor, and the doctor looked at the numbers and said, whatever you are doing, keep doing it. You're doing a fantastic job managing this diabetes. And she looked good. The sister, she was a little younger than me, maybe 10 or 12 years younger than me. I looked good. But she was slightly younger than me. But she looked very good. Her skin was so clear, so wonderful. You know, they say black don't crack. But she said to her doctor, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, no doubt. But you have to understand, I did not take any of the medications you prescribed to me. Her doctor had just told her, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing wonderful. And then she told the doctor, I did not take any of your drugs that you prescribed me. You know what the doctor said? Are you out of your mind? The doctor said, are you crazy? The doctor said, do you want to die? That's what her doctor told her. Now, personally, had I been in that situation, I would have said to the doctor, no, I don't want to die, and I don't want to be lifelong addicted to drugs. So you're fired. I'm rid of you. I would have said that. But of course, I fired all doctors years and years and years ago. Years and years and years ago. And after my experience with malaria in Africa, I would not have gone to the doctors for that had not I been pressured by my then fiance's family. But that's a whole nother topic. And my family. They contacted my family, and my daughters got on me too. I was all the way in Africa, and they did and do have a strong influence on what I do, but I was very reluctant to do it. And I lived through it, but the hospital damn near killed me. That's a whole nother topic. Personalized medicine, minimize medication side effect, functional medicine approach to autoimmune disease. This is what I really came here for. Functional medicine takes a root cause, symptoms-based approach rather than just treating symptoms. I said symptoms-based. That was wrong. Functional medicine takes a root cause, systems-based approach rather than just treating symptoms. It is highly personalized and often includes the following. Number 1, identifying triggers. Investigates food sensitivities, chronic infections, toxins, and stress. And it uses comprehensive testing to uncover hidden contributors. 2, anti-inflammatory nutrition. It emphasizes whole foods, omega-3s, and antioxidants. And it eliminates processed foods, and common allergens. 3, it deals with gut health restoration. It focuses on healing the gut lining and balancing microbiota. It uses probiotics, prebiotics, and dietary changes. 4, the functional medicine emphasizes stress and lifestyle management, incorporates mindfulness, sleep hygiene, and exercise. It supports adrenal health and hormone balance. 5, functional medicine emphasizes for autoimmune disorder detoxification support, helps the body eliminate environmental toxins, may include liver support and hydration strategies, and includes immune system balancing, using targeted supplements and therapies to regulate the immune system, to keep that immune system within the boundaries so that it doesn't become so excessive it attacks its own body, your own body, and avoids blanket immunosuppression when possible. See, that's what you're hearing in those TV commercials where they're telling you all of the side effects of the drugs that they are advertising to support you. Isn't that crazy? So I got that blanket immunity. Okay, a systemic. Oh, that's another document. There's one more I wanted to go through: conventional versus functional medicine. From the aspect of focus, for conventional medicine, it's symptom suppression. For functional medicine, the focus is on root cause identification, and in this case, the root cause of your autoimmune disorder is chronic inflammation. The tools used: conventional medicine tools include medications, example given, immunosuppressants. For functional medicine, the tools used include diet, lifestyle, supplements, and testing. Conventional versus functional medicine. Personalization is limited under conventional medicine. For functional medicine, it is highly individualized. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, such as NSAID drugs. No. Functional medicine, it's you have a problem. It may be distinct from every other person whose diagnosis fits that same thing. Your problem is unique. Your solutions will therefore be personalized for you. Number 4, the long-term strategy under conventional medicine is disease management. I would say symptom regulation. And under functional medicine, it is healing and prevention. And lastly, the aspect for conventional medicine, side effect consideration. For conventional medicine, it's very significant. Side effects of steroids are very, very serious. It can kill you. And for functional medicine, minimizes through natural interventions. So that's it. That's our approach, and that's why I only use functional medicine as the treatment protocol of preference, especially when it comes to managing or eliminating chronic diseases. I have here an article. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to read this. Now, this is one of a number of peer review articles I found today while doing this inquiry. And I'm going to share this with you, my listening audience. I'm going to share it up. I'm going to put it on my Facebook page under today's program. And I'm going to put it under today's promotion that I put out. And I see you in the house, Brother John. It's always is a pleasure having you, John Stroman, with us. I see you, my dear brother. And I'm also going to put this up on the Rumble page. Cannot insert a command after other text. Commands must be first. I don't know what it said there, but I think we got it here. X, put that in. Now paste it in here. And that gave it. And one more place I'm going to place it is up on the YouTube for our listening audience today. And YouTube is right over here. And I'm not getting any links today at all from YouTube. Oh, don't put it here. Comments. And I'm not getting any comments from YouTube. It's odd because today's program, although I consider it to be very, very important, I'm just really not getting much of an audience for today. We're just going to do the best we can. That's all that can be expected, is just do the best that you can. And on that note, we're going to continue. One sec. I want to put this link in one more time. And I do have a number of people who have hit the like button for our YouTube broadcast. So I know you're in the house, although nobody is talking to me. Talk to me. Nobody talking to me today. We're just going to do the best that we can do. That's all that can be expected. Isn't that true? Now, where is the link? Why am I not seeing any chat? Join the chat. Join the conversation to act. Open the panel for the chat. And do I have to be signed in? I am signed in. There it is. So we're in the chat right now. And so let's continue. Where are we where are we at? We're behind that at, my daddy would say. Going back to, I was looking this document up. Okay, this is what I'm looking up. Paste this in here. Paste. And this is from the oxfordcenter.com, entitled A Synergistic Healing Approach for Autoimmune Disease. Now, synergistic, that would indicate that it's part of the larger matrix of our body. That sounds to me like functional medicine. I hope this article does pull this all together. Let's go into it. It's entitled A Synergistic Healing Approach for Autoimmune Disease. This is from the Oxford Center, and I don't have an author on this. They write, debilitating fatigue, brain fog, and mysterious joint pain, rashes, hives, and unexplained itching, muscle weakness, rapid heartbeat, and diarrhea. These seemingly unrelated symptoms have become so common that they are accepted as normal. It seems that everyone is exhausted, stressed out, anxious, and or depressed. Many people also suffer from food-triggered digestive issues, but common and normal are not the same thing. The body is not supposed to attack its own cells, tissues, and organs. Yet this is exactly what happens in autoimmune disease. Some of the better-known autoimmune diseases include, but are not limited to, rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, ulcerative colitis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and lupus. The American Autoimmune Related Diseases Association, AARDA, estimates that 50 million Americans, almost 1 in 5, suffer from one or more of the 140 plus diseases classified as autoimmune. This is very important. The American Autoimmune Related Diseases Association estimates that there are 140 plus diseases classified as autoimmune. Earlier, I cited 80 from the AI, but this is better than that. That's approximately double the number of people who suffer from heart disease and 4 times the number of people affected by cancer. Further complicating the perplexing nature of these diseases, it is not always known whether autoimmune dysfunction is the cause or consequence of the presenting disease. For example, asthma and eczema are believed to be triggered by autoimmune conditions, yet seem to be surface problems. Mainstream medicine offers few solutions for autoimmune disease, generally providing only palliative care, meaning suppress the symptoms. But at the Oxford Center, we take a synergistic approach, combining hyperbaric oxygen therapy, cha-cha-ching, nutrition coaching, and medical consultation. We guide patients in restoring health. I like this. I like this. The role of hyperbaric oxygen therapy in treating autoimmune conditions. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, HBOT, it can be a powerful tool for treating autoimmune disease. HBOT is a clinical treatment where the patient breathes 100% oxygen while enclosed in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber at a pressure greater than 1.5 atmosphere. At pressures greater than normal, the body can incorporate more oxygen into blood cells, blood plasma, cerebrospinal fluid, and other body fluids. The increased oxygen absorption experienced during HBOT boosts stem cell production 100%. I'm going to repeat that sentence, too important to mess it up. The increased oxygen absorption experienced during hyperbaric oxygen therapy include HBOT boosts stem cell production by 800% and enhances the body's ability to heal itself. Known effects of HBOT include reduced inflammation, healing of infections. Let me do that without stuttering. Healing of infections and repair of damaged tissues. Raising oxygen levels in tissues where they have been lowered due to illness or injury encourages blood vessel growth, reduces swelling, and supports the immune system. These effects provide significant symptomatic relief and delayed or decreased progression of disease. Now, this is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful information. I'm going to do this real quickly. I'm going to go back. I'm going to grab the whole article. I'm going to copy, cut, and paste this one to my hard drive. I'm copying that. Click print and save. It's going to come up. Give me a second. Print, and I'm saving this to hard drive. Pages 1 through 4, so it's not too long. 1 through 4. Save it. And this is going to come back for me very, very soon, as I actually do have a client that is, right now, I have more than one client who's dealing with autoimmune disorder. So the role of nutrition in autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disorders are exacerbated by disorders in the gut. They are also very responsive to dietary changes. When individuals suffering from autoimmune disease implement healing diets, improvements, often dramatic, in physical and psychological health result. The Autoimmune Protocol, AIP, is a sophisticated elimination diet where foods known to cause inflammation and immune dysregulation are avoided, while nutrient-dense foods that support the body in healing itself are consumed. The Autoimmune Protocol is composed of both an elimination phase and a reintroduction phase. Beginning such an intense diet can be overwhelming. Support from a nutrition coach can make the difference between frustration and success. There is no single best diet, there are no single best lifestyle and diet for autoimmune disease. Each individual must learn how specific foods affect their symptoms, find foods that promote healing, and eliminate those that destroy their health. Number 4, medical testing and autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease is a complex and multi-layered. Doctors don't agree on which diseases fall under the autoimmune umbrella and how to treat them. Of course, they did mention earlier 140 plus diseases according to this research organization. A medical professional who knows how to look for root causes of disease offers the best hope for recovery. A variety of factors influence health and disease, including genetics, environmental toxin exposures, vitamin deficiencies, infection, stress, and sleep. Testing is often the only way to quantify and understand these confounding factors so that an appropriate treatment strategy may be designed. At the Oxford Center, the medical team is constantly researching and innovating to determine approaches that will help patients restore health. With millions of Americans affected by autoimmune disorders, we have developed protocols for best outcomes, which include hyperbaric oxygen therapy, genetic testing, medical consultation, and nutrition coaching. So, lastly, taking charge of your health. The World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. It is empowering to know that we can take charge of our own health. While there are no magic bullets, what we choose to eat, how we manage stress, and the healing modalities we select for ourselves and our families play a huge role in our health and well-being. In deciding how to deal with an autoimmune disease or a collection of symptoms that point to a related condition, trust your inner guidance. Articles or therapies often cross our paths for a reason. At the same time, it is prudent to determine if they are right for us by doing further research. Knowledge is power. Read, learn, and ask questions. Restoring your health can be a joyful process, especially with support from caring professionals. Founded in 2008, the Oxford Center is an innovative therapy organization that promotes healing through a variety of research-based therapies tailored to individual needs. While traditional therapies limit people to living with their condition, Oxford's therapies promote healing and recovery. Oxford offers a variety of programs that strive to create a lifestyle of wellness, improved health, and quality of life, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy, nutrition coaching, medical consultation, and laboratory testing. And let me tell you, that was a very good article. I do appreciate that. And what I'm going to do right now is grab all of that, copy, and I'm going to paste it in the document I have for today. And lastly, I'm going to go through these common types of autoimmune disorder. And I guess I got to go into food as well. So end 2 paragraphs, save this, save, and let me back up. We're going to go through 8 different common autoimmune disorders. They include number 1, rheumatoid arthritis. RA is a chronic autoimmune disease where the immune system mistakenly attacks the body's own tissues, primarily the synovium, the lining of the joints. This causes inflammation, leading to pain, swelling, stiffness, and warmth in the joints, often affecting the same joints on both sides of the body symmetrically. Commonly affected areas include the wrists, hands, feet, knees, and ankles. Symptoms often worsen after rest or in the morning and may include fatigue, fever, and loss of appetite. If left untreated, rheumatoid arthritis can lead to joint damage, deformity, and loss of function, and can affect other organs like the lungs, heart, and eyes. While there is no cure, early diagnosis and treatment can manage symptoms, prevent joint damage, and improve quality of life. Now, while there is no cure, I have a big problem with that statement, but I will agree with that part of the statement that says early diagnosis and effective treatment can eliminate the symptoms, prevent the joint damage, and preserve your quality of life. I had a little pain recently. Where is it at? Because I can actually feel it. It's in one of my knuckles, and I'm trying to feel where is it at. That I said might be rheumatoid arthritis. It's gone today, and I have been eating very well. But my hands, 70 years young, reflect. There was a fight that I got into when I was about 22 or so. Broke, chipped a little. There's a little chip under this knuckle here. But other than that, no rheumatoid arthritis, no dysfunction. I have seen no small number of people much younger than myself dealing with rheumatoid arthritis. Number 2 on this list, lupus. Lupus, or systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE, is a chronic autoimmune disease where the immune system mistakenly attacks tissues, healthy tissues, causing inflammation and damage to various organs, including the skin, joints, and kidneys. Symptoms may vary widely and may include fatigue, joint pain, skin rashes, and fever. While the exact cause of lupus is unknown, genetic, hormonal, and environmental factors may contribute. Diagnosis involves blood tests and urinalysis, with treatment focusing on managing symptoms and preventing flare-ups. No, treatment includes get rid of the lupus. Number 3, type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is a chronic autoimmune condition where the immune system attacks and destroys insulin-producing beta cells in the pancreas. This leads to little or no insulin production, resulting in high blood sugar levels. Symptoms often include increased thirst, frequent urination, extreme fatigue, and blurred vision. The exact cause is unknown. That's not true. But genetic and environmental factors may play a role. Management includes lifelong insulin therapy, regular blood sugar monitoring, and a balanced diet to maintain glucose levels. And that, I'm using AI for all of these explanations, and that explanation was terrible. That was really bad. Number 4, multiple sclerosis, MS, is a chronic autoimmune disease that affects the central nervous system, where the immune system mistakenly attacks the protective myelin sheath surrounding nerve fibers. This damage disrupts communication between the brain and the body, leading to a variety of symptoms, including fatigue, difficulty walking, numbness, and vision problems. The exact cause is well known. They said unknown. The exact cause is well known. But genetic and environmental factors may contribute. So they do know, but they say they don't know. Why? Because it's artificial intelligence. This is the best that AI can do. The exact cause is unknown, but genetic and environmental factors may do contribute. Treatment focuses on managing symptoms, reducing relapses, and slowing disease progression through medications and lifestyle changes. That's not and I'm never going to suggest that. Number 5, Hashimoto and Graves' disease. Hashimoto's disease and Graves' disease are autoimmune disorders affecting the thyroid gland. Hashimoto disease leads to hypothyroidism, where the immune system attacks thyroid tissue, resulting in decreased hormone production and symptoms like fatigue, weight gain, and depression. Conversely, Graves' disease causes hyperthyroidism, characterized by excessive hormone production, leading to symptoms such as weight loss, anxiety, and rapid heartbeat. Both conditions require medical management, often involving hormone replacement therapy for Hashimoto's and anti-thyroid medications or radioactive iodine for Graves'. No, 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 no. I'm going to stop reading these. The last two were psoriasis. I'll stop reading these at a point when they're recommending what to do. Psoriasis is a chronic autoimmune skin condition characterized by the rapid growth of skin cells, leading to thick, red, scaly patches on the skin's surface. These patches can be itchy and painful, often appearing on the elbows, knees, scalp, and lower back. I've had this happen before around the neck area. The exact cause is not fully understood. It's inflammation. But genetic and environmental factors play a role. And it could also be allergies to commonly used items around your household. You might be using a certain skin supplement, putting something on your skin that's causing your autoimmune disease to result in psoriasis. It could be laundry detergent, could be a bunch of things, but you may not suspect it because you're commonly using. The exact cause is not fully understood, but genetics and environmental factors play a role. Psoriasis can be associated with other health issues such as arthritis. Treatment options include topical therapies, phototherapy, and systemic medications to manage symptoms. Well, I would say treatment options in my case, functional medicine, would include topical therapies, yes, but they got to be clean topical therapies. I'm going to be having a guest on in the next few days. She's going to be talking to us about clean topical therapies. Phototherapy, to me, that's just getting out in the sun, letting the sun touch you on your skin. Don't overdo it, but you're going to do it just enough. And systemic medications means food, if you ask me. That's the best systemic medication that I can think of. Inflammatory bowel disease. IBD encompasses chronic conditions, primarily Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, that cause inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract. Symptoms often include abdominal pain, diarrhea, weight loss, and fatigue. The exact cause is unknown. No, the exact cause is well known. It's caused by gastroenteritis, inflammation of your gastrointestinal system. Hello? But genetic, environmental, and immune factors are believed to contribute. IBD can lead to serious complications, including bowel obstructions and increased risk of colon cancer. And I'm going to skip over the management, but definitely involves reducing inflammation, dietary changes, and in certain cases, surgery. And I'm never going to recommend surgery, not if you don't have to. Celiac disease is a common chronic immune disorder with the ingestion of gluten from wheat, a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye, triggers an immune response that damages the small intestine's lining. This damage impairs nutrient absorption, leading to symptoms such as diarrhea, bloating, weight loss, and fatigue. Genetic predisposition plays a significant role. I disagree with that. I say we are all genetically predisposed to all diseases or not to have them, depending on how we manage our genetics with the epigenetic environment. The only effective treatment is a strict, lifelong gluten-free diet, which helps heal the intestine and alleviate symptoms, allowing individuals to lead healthy lives. It's not the only, but it's good. I do agree. That's good. Vitiligo is a chronic skin condition characterized by the loss of pigment-producing cells called melanocytes, leading to white patches on the skin. This occurs when the immune system mistakenly attacks these cells. Although the exact cause remains unclear, that's not true. Vitiligo can affect any area of the body, including the face, hands, and hair, and may be associated with other autoimmune disorders. While there is a cure, it says here there is no cure. Treatments such as topical corticosteroids, light therapy, and cosmetic options can help manage the appearance of the skin. Real quickly, vitiligo. I did include vitiligo in my book called Living Superfood Solutions. And I'm going to skip forward to the chapter on vitiligo here real quick. Wait. One more I'm going to put on here, and then I'm going to come to vitiligo. Vitiligo 110 through 132 is a whole chapter on vitiligo from 113 to 132. And I see it there. Vitiligo is an autoimmune disorder, and it's a long chapter. I'll get right to it. But sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis is an inflammatory disease characterized by the formation of small clusters of immune cells called granulomas in various organs, most commonly the lungs, lymph nodes, and skin. And it can form in the interstitial tissues surrounding our lungs, heart, and other various parts. In various organs, the exact cause is not known. That's not true. It's environmental, epigenetic. But it may involve genetic, environmental, immune system factors. Symptoms can vary widely and include persistent cough, shortness of breath, fatigue, and skin lesions. While many cases resolve spontaneously, treatment options include such as corticosteroids, not recommended, and immunosuppressants, absolutely horrible, may be necessary to manage severe symptoms or complications. Well, my roommate Terry, who many of you have heard from, she had sarcoidosis before we met for a number of years. In fact, it had sent her to the hospital with a heart attack at age, I think, 42. And when she came out, they put her on corticosteroids and other things while she had tried to modulate it through nutrition. It was only after we got together, I was already using clinical nutrition. And so I said, hey, come on over. Let's do this thing. And in the middle of doing that thing, she ate my food. Nothing but my food. I fixed the food for her. And her autoimmune disorder went away after 1 week. Her sarcoidosis, which had nearly taken her life in her early 40s, went away after 1 week. And as she has maintained living superfood, she has maintained living without this very dangerous autoimmune disorder, inflammatory disease. It was the cause of death for the beloved comedian Bernie Mac. So do it for yourself. Do it for Bernie Mac. Let's get rid of this autoimmune disorder. Now, I want to real quickly just double check, make sure anybody who is in the WhatsApp group, not the WhatsApp group, anybody who is in our YouTube, yeah, I do see our commentary has come in from the Rumble channel. We have Shabaka 14 is in the house. Greetings, Baba. Just signing in. Great to have you with us. Holistica 44. Peace and love, family. Aging gracefully. Auto intoxication. Yes, very true. Not necessarily auto intoxication, but autoimmune disorder, which, if you want to call it auto intoxication, I'm not going to disagree with that at all, because we realize as it comes from inflammation, inflammatory causation. And that's very important. Inflammatory causation at that. So thank you, Holistica. You are in the house. You have found your family. And I can't say no to auto intoxication, even though intoxication means you are putting the toxins in your own body. And that is true. That is so very true. People are putting toxins within their own body, but the problem is that many of them aren't aware of it. They're not aware of the many foods which are intoxicating to the cells. And that's why I wrote in inflammatory causation. That is the cause of the auto intoxication. No need to flesh that out too much. You know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. And we do understand. Bernie Mac, Yes, Bernie Mac. Praise be his eternal name. Bernie Mac was a funny guy. He was a little bit rude for me at the time, but I later caught up with him. Bernie Mac was really, really rude. I'm not going to talk about that. That's here nor there. But he was beloved, definitely. We're near the end of today's production. I'm going to go through best foods for autoimmune disease, including anti-inflammatory foods. Leafy greens, yes. Spinach, kale, and Swiss chard are rich in antioxidants and vitamins. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries are high in antioxidants and can help reduce inflammation. Fatty fish, I'm not a fan of it, but they say salmon, mackerel, and sardines are excellent sources of omega-3 fatty acids and have anti-inflammatory properties. I do recommend nuts and seeds such as walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, black seeds, and these all provide healthy omega-3, and these are in what's it called? AAFI, the 8 critical classes of nutrients. One of them is your vitamins, minerals, clean proteins, meaning they contain all of the amino acids. You have something fatty acids, AFAs, whatever they're called. AFAs, drawing a blank. You have fiber, you have carbohydrates, and hydration. These are all critical elements of our daily nutrition. So, what does that AFA stand for? Why am I drawing a blank? Omega-3 fatty acids are part of the classification of the fatty acids we need to get. Whole foods include fruits and vegetables, variety of colors. Eat the colors to ensure a wide range of nutrients. Sweet potatoes, carrots, and bell peppers are great anti-inflammatory choices. Whole grains such as quinoa, brown rice, wild rice, black rice, and oats can provide fiber and essential nutrients. Make sure your oats are organic. Legumes, beans, and lentils, we try and eat them, if not every day, at least every other day. They're excellent sources of protein and fiber. Clean proteins, beans, lentils, chickpeas, legumes, nuts, and foods containing omega-3 essential fatty acids, not AFAs, EFAs, essential fatty acids. And healthy fats such as olive oil, avocado oil, your mono unsaturated fats and antioxidants. You want to also use coconut oil, black sesame seeds and sesame seed oil, flax seeds, hemp seeds, and their oils are all excellent. I try and consume some of them every day. Herbs and spices to fight inflammation include turmeric. That also would be included in your not curcumin. The curcumin is in the turmeric, but it also would include curry powder, and mustard is an excellent source for spices and nutrients. Strong anti-inflammatory properties. Ginger, no doubt, you cannot lose. The most ginger you get in your body, whether it's fresh ginger or if it's powdered ginger, get that ginger in. Avoid eating inflammatory foods. It's also important to avoid certain foods that trigger inflammation and autoimmune responses. Processed foods are high in sugars and unhealthy fats. Gluten, people with autoimmune diseases may benefit from stop eating gluten diet. Dairy can be inflammatory for many people. Nightshade vegetables such as tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants may trigger symptoms in some individuals. And lastly, I want to go through, and this next document, I did read part of it, and it is a synergistic approach for autoimmune disorder. So all of that said and done, I think we did a good job today. I didn't even have to use my AK, as Ice Cube might say. There is a lot more for us to learn about these conditions and how to get rid of them, not manage them, how to eliminate autoimmune disorders. The first and foremost thing, number one rule I would say, is get rid of your inflammation. Get rid of all inflammation. Get rid of your children's inflammation. Get rid of inflammation. Stop eating all of these foods that cause inflammation. Stop drinking alcohol. It wrecks your gut microbiome. And when your gut microbiome is out of shape, out of order, it allows the unhealthy bacteria to take over. And you don't need that. You do not at all need that. So I want to thank you for tuning in today, Brother Shabaka and Holistica 44. Great contributions to today's show that you, brothers, and Holistica, might be a sister, correct me if I'm wrong, that you two have contributed to today's program has been wonderful. We're also, I must remind you that we are in an emergency fund drive mode. Emergency fund drive mode. And we're asking you to do the best that you can. There is a link underneath the chat. You see the chat window there on Rumble. There are two links right underneath there. One, it looks like it's a dollar sign, and the other looks like a gift wrap box right next to it. One is green, one is red. You can hit either one of those and make a contribution in just a minute or so. It will require the use of a debit card or credit card or something else. You will be absolutely taken care of by Rumble. They're going to protect your privacy. Make a donation. I would also ask that you make a donation. Our Cash App is $KEIDIOBI. That is our Cash App. You can use Cash App. On the front page of libradio.com, there is a link at the bottom of libradio.com, and at the bottom you can either make a one-time donation or you can make a contribution once a month. Whatever amount you decide is what you do want to contribute. We are in an emergency fund drive mode. I have had, and I say we because I want you to claim what I am saying, but we have had a very ambitious plan. We want to save our people's lives, as many as who will agree to work with us. And to do so, it's going to cost a lot of money, a lot more money than what I can come up with. So we're going to do the best that we can to raise a lot of money for our people's liberation. Can we do it? I think we can. But I've been wrong. I've been wrong a few times about whether or not we can do what it is that we have to do. So on that note, I want to thank you all for being with us today. It's been a good day. Didn't even have to use my AK, as Ice Cube might say. There is a natural mystic that's blowing in the air. Because we listen so very carefully, we do hear it. And we are going to change our individual behaviors so that we can improve our people's overall health. It's a good thing. We encourage such activity. So on that note, I want to thank you for being with us today on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com. It's been a good day, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So I guess I don't have anything else to do but now hit the going out button. My brain is on so many things at one time, including this emergency fund drive. It wakes me up in the morning thinking, how am I going to get beyond this? How am I going to get through this? But then at the end of the day, you step up again and again and again. It's not easy, people. This is not easy. But it is rewarding. And as a consequence of all of that, we keep on stepping. Stepping towards long-term goals. We do. We want to build the Kuchichagalia village. We do want to connect with our brothers and sisters all across our mother continent, Africa. We are an African people. And as a consequence of being an African people, we do have mighty goals for us to build upon. And that's why you tune into your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIV Radio. We are LIV TV. We are most certainly living in black.com. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you. On your favorite, we aim to be your favorite. We are LIV Radio, LIV TV. We are living in black.com. Peace, y'all.